There we
There
go.
we go. We got it. How's life?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
Everything's good, man. It's so good to see you. That's one of the
Likewise.
beauties of coming out of this COVID fog is that we all get to see each other. It's like that movie Pleasantville where everything went from black and white to color.
And you're definitely in color with your background there.
Yeah, I'm a visual artist on the side, so that's my
Oh,
original work
oh,
there. So,
nice.
yeah.
Love it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
thank you. Yeah, it's fun. Well, cool, man. I really enjoyed Two Roads, so I'm looking forward to getting into it. I appreciate you taking a minute out.
Oh, of course. Thank you. Yeah.
So before we do, and I kind of mentioned it with COVID, ultimately at the end of the day, how did what kind of changes have happened since you've come out of it? How has living through the pandemic influenced this album, or how has it changed the way that you do things now?
Well, it's had lots of rebound effects for sure. The teaching thing, all the colleges I taught at lost a lot of students and never recovered. So I ended up losing like a couple of my big jobs just recently, just this summer, but it was all because of what happened in COVID. Um, so, the teaching thing has been seriously impacted. Playing wise, it was a cool time to reconnect to the instrument.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of playing actually in COVID, doing the videos that people were doing.
Yeah.
And but then it was really great to, of course, start gigging with live humans in person.
Yeah.
And I think we'll never take that for granted again.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Being a journalist and going to shows, I would always take a deep breath before shows. I was always very cognizant of what kind of privilege it is to see
Yeah.
all you cats on stage. But I think now, hopefully, the rest of the world, it's not a temporal thing. They understand how important it is to be in the room, to have the air coming out of the kits and the horns, and to have that all commingle into an energetic union in front of humans.
Oh, absolutely. It's
It's
it's entirely, I mean, it's cool to listen to recordings, but an entirely different thing to have that energy smack you in the face. And
yeah,
you said, feel the wind, feel the actual molecules hitting your body
absolutely.
for
Yeah.
sure.
It was, I remember when it happened, it was glorious. So talk to me about Two Roads. How did this artistically get stitched together?
Well, I have loved Rachel and Omar's playings for years, and I wanted to do a project with them. And I had them come out to one of the colleges I was teaching at as guest artists, and so I wrote music really to tailor made. I mean, I rearranged a couple of my tunes, but it was really with that thing that they do in mind. And of course they exceeded expectations and just brought it to life much better than my brain could bring it to life. So and they're great people and super fun to hang with and play with. Yeah.
Yeah, I just interviewed Rachel recently, and I was just blown away by her lineage and stories, and you know
Uh,
Wayne Shorter opening his house up to her. Just it was
yeah.
like, wow, man, that's deep, man.
That story's crazy. Yeah.
Yes, it is crazy,
No,
totally
yeah.
crazy.
She's
And
the best.
well, and I just saw, did you see that movie that they made on Amazon Prime about his life?
No.
Oh man, it's so good. I mean it,
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
you mean the 3 hour one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw parts of it. Yeah, 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 for sure.
Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
good. So
Yeah,
good.
cool.
So at the end of the day, I know that it's not something that's on the forefront of your brain, but what are you hoping the listener gets from this album?
Well, I try to write stuff that's accessible in a way. I know I have a lot of different influences. So I like a lot of melodies. I think you can hear that in a lot of the tunes. Um, I'm a super big fan of the Jan Garbarek ECM thing, but I'm equally a fan of Lenny Pickett and Tower of Power and that's that thing. And I'm equally a fan of more straight ahead jazz, and I'm equally a fan of kind of maybe the Brian Eno soundscape thing. And, just try to mix it all together in a way that I like. So I hope people, grab the energy, and that's what you can really hear with Omar. And I don't know, the band just has a lot of energy to it, and I hope that jumps out. And then the melodies, in particular, like I think the second tune, Sound of Ice Melting, and Prayer Again, those are melodies that mean a lot to me. So I hope people can feel that a little bit.
Yeah. So, what are you guys going to do for live shows to promote this?
Well, I'm working on that right now. So Omar and Rachel, well, Rachel tours with her
Yeah,
trio, sometimes with Omar, sometimes with not. I'm actually playing with them at Smalls in New York. I did it in June, and I'm doing it in January again with her quartet. Um, so it's the balance of not getting in the way of their touring, and then, finding my own thing. So I hope to play a couple gigs in the Bay Area, and then there's a club in Paso Robles called Libretto that's supposed to be super happening, and then something down in LA or San Diego, and then hopefully do a few gigs in East Coast, maybe at Smalls, and I have some connections in Maine, so I'll see what I can get going back there.
cool.
But it's a tricky subject when people are like moving all over the place.
Yep.
It's crazy.
So, the one thing that you had mentioned was when COVID happened, the teaching gigs were compromised. But I'm curious from your perspective as a teacher and someone that's an elder in this art form that's passing along all of this experience in music. Where do you see the strength of the youth and just in general with jazz in 2024? Do you see that the population and the student populace is rebounded? How strong do you see it right now?
Well, the talent is still there. Talent has not wavered. I have my crop of kids right now are amazing. Really, really great high school kids, top notch. Um, but kids now know it's very difficult to make a living as a jazz musician. And I think when I was a kid, yeah, we knew it was hard to be a musician, but who cares? You're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
These kids, they don't want to go that path, and a lot of them don't want to teach. So, like Stanford right now has a lot of amazing kid musicians, great players, but they don't want to be music majors. So they're, majors, physics and math and whatever they're doing, rocket science, and they're still incredible musicians. The kids that wants to be a music major, a little bit far and few between. Um, and then, you're dealing with, it takes a certain toughness to survive in this business. And these guys are like phenomenally talented, phenomenally smart, clever. They can do the whole thing, but it's more of a choice. I don't know if they have to do it. And as a musician, the saying that the music chooses you, you don't choose it. And I think a lot of these guys, they're really great at it, so they're doing it for a while. But we'll see if it can sustain, because the business is just, it's brutal right now. I mean, it's always been brutal. It's a
Yeah.
tough business, and you gotta love it. You gotta love it fiercely, or you will bail at some point.
Yeah. So I know that when we get to this point where we're talking about an album, you've moved on to the next thing. Two Roads is your sixth album. I know that everything kind of moves forward. What's going on
There,
with you right now? I know you're orchestrating tours, but in general, what else is going on?
that's funny. Yeah, only an artist would know that. Of course, I'm way onto that. Well, the bass player Jeff Denson, we're doing a trio, hopefully with drummer Gerald Cleaver, and we want to just play standards. So we're gonna rent a studio and go and maybe play 3 albums, just straight, play tunes. And then we also have a trio where Jeff is a great singer, and I use a lot of my effects that are on Two Roads, the sax effects, and create sort of this soundscapey kind of almost cinematic kind of sound. So we want to do some pop tunes, and that's an entirely different trio thing. And then the latest thing, so that's I want that we're gonna probably do that soon. And then I don't know if you remember a record, Chick Corea Three Quartets.
Yeah.
They did years ago. I've been listening to a ton of Beethoven string quartets, and I want to try to do something like that. I don't know. I can't really wrap my brain around it yet,
Yeah.
how to pull it off the way I want. But so that's my pipeline right now.
Right
But
on.
you're right. As soon as that thing's done,
Just go right down the road.
I'm ready to go on to the next thing.
That's it. So Two Rows is your sixth release. It's a wonderful album. I've already profiled it on the program. Where's the best place for people to pick this up? Find out about future shows, anything else in your world, where do they go?
DannZinn.com.
Okay.
That's everything. And you can hear it on Spotify and all the streaming things, but DannZinn.com will have everything that I'm doing and about to do. And it's got my books on there. I wrote a whole series of sax technique books. I'm finishing up a book called The Practice Manifesto about how to practice and how to keep it going when the going gets tough.
Yeah.
How to motivate yourself and all these sort of things.
Yeah.
I did that during COVID. I just sat and I wrote a book. What the heck?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we all have the time to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Dan, man, it's so good to catch up with you. I look forward to our next meeting. Thank you for taking a minute out, and best of luck with the next project and unveiling this one.
Thanks so much. All right, Joe. Thanks so much. Great
Thank
to
you, Dan.
talk. Yeah. All right. Take care.
Take care.